we have a groundbreaking report, and that report is that weddings are still fantastic stuff.
By all reports, weddings are still fun.
They're so much fun, man. I had a fucking great time yesterday.
Mate, big fat Greek wedding is the thing. Is what the two of us require from now on. As a minimum. Yeah,
I think so.
I need to ask you a question.
Go on.
So I get home after midnight and pretty much just hit the sack straight away.
Yeah.
Lay my head down on that pillow and by God, did I pass out quickly. I checked my phone this morning and there's a lot of texts and missed FaceTime calls from you at nearly 1 a.m, which is way past your bedtime. Yeah. And there's one particular message that stood out to me, and this is at 12:48 a.m, Drifters. So, like, we're not in our early 20s, late teens. Like, we're not kicking on till like 3 or 4 a.m. anymore. Like, that's late for us, mate.
Yeah.
And it's from you to me. I'm keen to do a pod tomorrow, moaning. MOENING. DJ etiquette.
Yes.
What does that mean? What does DJ etiquette mean?
I wanted to discuss the DJ and his etiquette throughout the night.
I was so perplexed as to what that message meant because, Drifters, believe it or not, my initials are DJ. So I thought you were alluding to DJ etiquette because I didn't respond to your message instantly. DJ etiquette, you know what I mean? Like respond to me when I've drunkenly messaged you. And I also saw that there was missed FaceTime calls from you to the group.
Yeah.
So I'm like, he's being already passed out at this point and not responding. Is he taking offense to this?
Not at all.
Oh.
Not at all. No, there's just a few things that popped up in my mind that I wanted to discuss. But yeah, that's one of my favourite things when I've had a skinful of piss is a drunken FaceTime. It's good stuff.
It is funny.
It's so funny. Like, so on that FaceTime that you missed, you father of little baby Bo, little Homer, he picked up and he was actually just giving Bo a little cuddle.
Oh, was he?
Yeah, as we were, that would have been probably about 12:30. He's like, what are you boys doing? Because he'd left like 2 or 3 hours earlier.
Oh, yeah, he did, didn't he?
Oh, but mate, what a fucking good, it was good stuff. Like right from the ceremony right through to the reception.
Yeah, from meeting our friend Armin all the way through, all the way through to the speeches. And then,
oh my God.
And then the D floor.
Oh, you said something during one of the speeches. It had me in fucking tears for about 5 minutes.
I just can't help myself. I can't help myself. She was livid with me. Sitting right next to me. She's like, Dak, just once, please. Just behave yourself. I was like, gee, you know me. I can't help it. But you and Brad being in tears made me go into tears. And she said, she was like, if you say anything during Isaac and Ellie's speech, our marriage will be over before it's even begun.
But the thing is like what you're saying isn't offensive at all. It's just like, it's just your timing. It's so fucking perfect. And you literally said one word. I'm in.
Oh, man. That was... Look, that was my first Greek wedding. And it wasn't my first wedding in a church, but it was my first in a Greek Orthodox church. The wedding of the Church of St. George, might I say. Vase up. And I didn't realise that they basically sing the entire time that they're doing the ceremony.
Yeah.
And like that. And I was like, you know what? He's just rattling through this and singing a nice tune. I was like, the Greeks know what's up, man.
They do. They they just understand weddings, mate.
They get it. They 100% get it.
So this wedding had everything, and some of the finest savvy bee that I've ever had.
Yeah,
It was delicious.
it was good. I'm definitely not a white wine guy.
Me neither. I was shocked. I was like, oh, I don't know how this is going to treat me tomorrow. And let me tell you, it's not treating me that well.
Yeah,
But yeah, so we polished some of that off, and then I was after finishing off that savvy bee, I'm like, gee, beers would be a tough ask right now. And I was like, oh, I'm gonna go to the bar just to see what's there. And I came back. I strutted back because I had a GB under my arm. Gingy B. And I had people turning heads. So like, where the fuck did you get that from?
Hang on a second. Lime, ice in a schooner glass, a cloudy ale. Well, it's not cloudy apple juice.
No.
And it's not non-alcoholic ginger beer.
No.
There's only one thing it could be.
Oh,
Alcoholic ginger beer.
I reckon that was my finest moment.
Yeah. Do you know what you like to do when you've had a skinful? Is give a real firm pat on the back. How are ya? I make contact. It's like, oh, jeez. Here he is. Oh, man. No, it was a really good night. So big thanks to Isaac and Ellie,
Yes.
a.k.a. Mr. and Mrs. Davis, a.k.a. Mr. and Mrs. Corbo, a.k.a. Mr. and Mrs. Corno, a.k.a. Mr. and Mrs. Morphettville Mafia. And we had messages from the drifters yesterday saying, hey, where are the Adelaide Tips dickheads? Where are they? Because he doesn't miss them very often.
He doesn't. Like, and this is where the man's mind was at. We're at the ceremony, and he was getting into the limo, and he looks back at us and he goes like, "Boys, number 5 in the next." Of course.
Horse racing doesn't stop for anyone.
It
It certainly doesn't stop for a wedding, mate.
It doesn't.
It continues.
It does.
It perseveres.
Before we get into the horse racing chat, because let's be honest, there's probably like 2 races that we want to touch on anyway.
Yeah.
So I got a haircut yesterday, right?
Mm-hmm.
And do you go to the same barber or do you change it up?
I go to the same bloke once a month.
Yep.
His name's Robson, and he's my guy.
He's your guy.
He's my guy, Robson.
How long have you and Robbo been hanging out?
I reckon for at least 2 years.
Yeah, okay.
I've been going to the same guy. To the point now where, like, I literally just sit down and he just goes for it. Like, there's no conversation.
Yep.
What about you?
Well, since moving here, I've been going to the same place. But I've had my hair cut by 4 different people there. And I reckon I've had 5 haircuts there. So this is what I've kind of realised. Over the journey, I've never really had a barber per se.
Yeah.
I typically go to the same places.
Yep.
But it's fascinating to me how there's so many ways to cut hair.
That is the most lukewarm take I have ever heard. There's so many ways to cut hair. Yes, there is, champion.
but like, so
as in, so you can go in there
yeah.
and request the exact same haircut. Let's just say, for argument's sake, 2 on the sides, blended, and a bit off the top. You know, short back and sides, and you could say that to 10 different hairdressers and get 10 different haircuts. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so I've had it where, like, one barber that I reckon one of the best experiences I had was I was like, oh yeah, I want that much off the top, right? And he basically put my entire head underwater, got it all super, super wet, combed it out, and then he just, like, with the
Clippers,
basically, like, with a comb and clippers, and just went, like, over the top. I was like, that was fucking great, because it took, like, no time at all.
Yeah.
This lady yesterday, fine haircut, but she kept, like, cutting and then wetting and then putting it down on my forehead.
Giving you bangs.
And then, like, lining it up that way. was like, babe, what are you doing? Surely you could use like the hair to do that.
Do you know your way around a pair of scissors or not?
It took forever.
Imagine her doing like a big afro or something. Take a long time.
It's one of the things I cannot stand is getting a haircut. I really don't.
Why? Just because of the small talk?
Well, thankfully this place, they don't talk to you at all. But yeah, small talk and just like, I feel like it's just wasted time.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I don't particularly look forward to it. No, it's even though I do it like once a month. But it's all mine takes like 20 minutes.
Yeah, true. So let's have a look at this racing from yesterday, Declan. Because there was a bit going on, you know.
There was a bit going on around the grounds. Geez, it was tough to find a winner in Sydney and Melbourne.
Oh, could find a second though.
Could find a placing. Found a few in Brizzy though.
Yeah, we did. Won the quaddie in Brisbane.
We won the quaddie.
Paid like $2.
Drifters. And again, this is the horse racing sites for no one, right? So we're sitting in that church at the back and, you know, may the Lord Jesus Christ forgive us. But I said to you and Bradley, I was like, boys, 10 minutes until the first in Brisbane, the first leg of the quaddie. We chucking one on.
Well, yeah, of course we are.
Of course we are. And I tell you what, when blokes get together and put their minds to it, they can achieve great things quickly.
When push comes to shove.
And that Quadrella was on very quickly, Drifters. And I'll tell you what, we got up. Hey! There was a $1.70 thing that won. There was a $4.60 thing that won. There was a $2.30 thing that won. But we had them all. And in the first leg, Hutch, you did your best work with a $9 thing, which gave us a little bit of juice.
It gave us a tiny, tiny little bit of juice. All right, the Australasian Oaks, 2,000 metres.
Speaking of lukewarm,
yeah,
is this not the worst Group 1 we've seen while doing this podcast?
Yeah.
I think it is.
I think so.
Like, a race is still a race, right? And you can still have a bet, and you can still win money responsibly, but...
You're a prophet. A race still is a race.
A race still is a race, you know? Oh, so profound. But yeah, what were your thoughts on this?
Oh. Well, this... about that. It's just, it just stopped showing the laptop, Drifters.
The replays just paused, Drifters.
Look, first glance, I'm like, all right, there's no superstars here. It's just like, yeah, it's... There was some other people with far heftier weighted opinions than ours during the week in the racing media going like, the Adelaide Carnival is at risk of becoming irrelevant. It already is irrelevant.
It is, yeah.
Like, this is just disgusting behaviour.
Do you think any of these horses will win another Group 1?
No.
I don't think so.
No. Like, are they going to run top 3 in a Group 1? No. Like, so the most fancied horse here is Arts. Never got warm.
No.
But, like...
Hold it up.
Like, she was... That 2,000 metre race that she won at Rose Hill or at Ramwick, she was $31 that day.
Yeah.
Like, she's no superstar anyway.
And she started this $4.80.
Yeah.
And the money was coming for her too.
Yeah. So she's been pulled out. She's run last. But, so, a fair swoove way.
A fair swoove,
I think...
just toughs it out, mate.
Just toughs it out. Like, I think she's one of those horses that doesn't really win by that much. She's not brilliant. My on top selection there, more or less, I think she was, for a horse that's only won one race, I think this was her third or fourth start. I thought she's probably the one with like some of the most scope. But still, like, is she a superstar? Nah.
No. No. A fair Sweaver beats the boys in the Adelaide Guineas over 1,800 metres. And then comes out and wins this, beating a field with she's fit, who ran against the boys in the WA Derby, which is not a Group 1. And I'm pretty sure she won the WA Oaks or something like that.
Yeah.
Which is not a Group 1. And she comes out here and nearly wins this.
Yeah.
It's just... I think it's an insult to the Group 1 tag, that race. Yeah. When we've got races like the Everest that aren't a Group 1, I know it's a pop-up race, a different story, but I don't want to get full serious and full dour with your drifters, but watching that race nearly made me yawn.
Well, there's 75 across the season. It's just taking up space.
Yeah.
Like, Tasmania doesn't have Group 1s. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, lift your game. Like, they have to do something, whether it's prize money or scheduling or something, but it is just completely...
Well, where would it fit? Because if they're trying to clash with our carnival up here in Brisbane, like, ours is good, man. Yeah. We've got a good carnival.
Yeah. Like,
it's never going to be as big as Sydney and Melbourne's because it's just not, but it's still a really good carnival.
It has its place because you have sensational races like the Victory Stakes that happened yesterday. 1,200 metres, Way for Rage.
Group 2.
And Private Eye, who ran second at Everest, is taking his talents up to Brisbane and he's getting rolled by the likes of Rothfire. So, Rothfire is just a tough horse.
He's a tough horse, mate.
Yeah.
Like, sitting outside the lead, like, I don't know how quick they were going, but, yeah, he just toughs it out. He absorbed the pressure and just held on late. Like, it's every time I watch him run, I'm like, he's such a tough horse and got so much respect for you, but there's also a tinge of sadness there because of what could have been.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, he's brilliant.
That's pretty dramatic.
Yeah. If it is. Like, I watch him and I feel a bit sad. So what were your thoughts on this race? So you were on King of Sparta, who came home really nicely.
Well, he took an age to wind up. Look at him.
Didn't he? Does he still have his nuts?
I don't think so. He just keeps grinding away. I think I'm the winner here. And Rothfire's just too tough.
Yeah, so I jumped off Private Eye Drifters and jumped on my guy, Paul Laley, mostly just because of price point difference. But from what I've just seen there, like, what is Private Eye? You know, like, he was brilliant last prep. Is this just a prep where you just go, okay, put a line through it? Or do you still think that was a really good run?
Yeah, look,
after a fair bit of space between runs, and can he bounce back and win a race this prep?
Only beaten a length, but these are the B graders.
Yeah.
If not C graders in terms of sprinting race. They're still bloody good horses, but they're like he's an A grader on his day, and he's had an off day. So I wouldn't even call this an off day. It's hard to gauge. He's a bit of a Goldilocks horse. Absolutely, everything needs to go right. It's very similarly to Paul Laley.
Yes.
I think. So he's probably an extremely tough betting proposition in the future. Like, he's so dynamic down the Flemington Straight, but then he's won Group 1s over the mile as well. So it's like, is he a sprinter or is he that miler? I don't really know.
I don't know either. Maybe you just need to ride him a bit colder. Like, he was pretty close up. Maybe you ride him cold, which again doesn't make him a great betting proposition because you need all the pace up front. I think about Paul Laley as well, and I think about when he's won. He's been ridden really cold as well. So maybe they're just horses that need to get back and just sort of leave him till the last sort of sprint. Yeah. But it was a good race, mate. I think it would be a good form race to follow.
I think so. So this is the 2-year-old feature in Brisbane as well. Apping Girl, well found by yours truly, won this race. Mate, I think she's a pretty smart filly, this thing. I think it was, what was it, Party for Two? Or,
the O'Day hoisted thing, yeah.
So the stablemate beat it. But it was this is one of the key lead ups to the JJ Atkins, so you'd have some sort of gauge of like the type of horses that we'll see here, but mate, this horse just wants to run fast.
Yeah. Let fast horses be fast.
Yeah.
No, well found. Not a very big filly,
No.
but she puts her head down and knuckles down and yeah,
Professional.
gets away from him.
Yep.
So, yeah, she's one to follow.
I don't know, mate. I don't know. We'll see. We will see.
Kovalika in the Queensland Guineas was brilliant as well.
Let's have a look at that.
He's, like I said on the podcast, favourite for the early favourite for the Queensland Derby, and geez, if he improves as he gets out further, you'd think he'd start pretty much odds on favourite for that.
Gets back here, does it? Oh, no, there he is up the front. Yeah, so just off the speed.
He was brilliant resuming over 1,400 metres, storming home behind Rosetta. Rosita. So, yeah, look, obviously, you know, you didn't have to be a genius to find him, but winners win, mate.
Winners do win, mate, and that's a really important point that you make.
Yeah.
Winners do have to win the race.
Yep. And, you know, if you're backing a horse to win, then and it wins, then you profit. you can't go broke backing winners.
I thought I was the winner, right?
You were arrogant.
I have to break up with him.
Yeah, he just has a bit of a think about it, I think, Brosnan. He's a good-looking horse.
Stunner, but that doesn't help my bank account.
No, but Kovalika was good.
That Perfect Thought's a good horse too.
Yeah.
I think it won on Derby Day, actually, in Melbourne. Mate, there's one race that we have to touch on because it was the bloody win of the day. That was Cardinal Gem.
Yeah.
We need to see this again because this was right before the reception started, Drifters, and you and I had a terrible 10 minutes.
Didn't we just?
This was my best bet of the day, and I thought I'd put my bet on, and I didn't. I was in shock.
Yeah.
I was like, what do you mean my balance hasn't grown? And you're like, what a stupid thing to do.
I was like, that's dumb. Dumb football. And then a few minutes later, we watched the bloody Australasian Oaks. And I was like, yes, Ferris Weaver, I'm better. I'm better. And I was like, fuck, I forgot to get on at $7.50. Shit. With the good people at Ned's.
Now, so we're in the home straight here, Drifters, and looks like Cardinal Gem is going up, bobbing up and down in one spot. We're like, oh well, to get 3 of these in a row, it turns out we're not better. Look at him with 200 metres to go here. Oh, hang on. Wow.
Just like Vin Diesel in Fast and Furious. When he's thinking about his family.
He's better!
He's better. He hits a nos and goes bang. I'm better! I'm better! I'm better! I said before the race, I was like, oh, they're talking about getting this horse up for the Stradbroke. Oh, he'd be in there pretty lightly weighted. That's not a bad shout. And you're like, I don't know about that. And he wins like that. You're like, geez, he'd be a decent Stradbroke horse. It's funny. Nah, look, we found a few yesterday, and we won the quaddie in Queensland. And as we said, like, we were the first 2 people in history to come up with a take that the Adelaide Carnival was losing relevancy, and it was irrelevant.
Yeah,
like we were the first 2 people to have that take in history.
Yeah.
And then you got the likes of people writing for RaceNet and other media personalities saying that it's losing relevancy. It's just like, okay, like, can you at least message us before you fuck us over and take our takes? You take stealers. Yeah, have some common courtesy.
I would have thought so, Declan.
Yeah, at least warn me before you're going to bend me over and fuck me. Can you stop pissing and shitting on my face?
Yeah, please. But Drifters, we'll get through this Adelaide Carnival together, you know what I mean?
We will do it together. And there's light at the end of the tunnel, and there's a silver lining to every cloud, and that is the winter carnival.
All right. I think we talked about this last year. They should just have a Super Saturday, one day, where the Oaks, the Derby, and bugger off the Phillies sprint. Just have the Goodwood.
Just have the Goodwood. That is a fantastic shout.
Like that's the solution to all this.
Yeah.
Like, and then you can actually champion some of your gun Adelaide horses. Like, you think back to like the likes of Behemoth and Sunlight was an Adelaide horse as well. Like, they actually can provide these decent horses, but they just don't set themselves up for success.
Geetra.
Yep.
Yeah.
So,
You're not wrong. And I think, you have the Oaks then, and you can still get the fillies coming out of the other states. And then you have your Derby, and you can get the boys coming out of the other states. And then if you have the Goodwood, you can have the horses that would have been in Brisbane, like the Private Eyes and the Rothfires and things like that. They can run in the Goodwood, and then they can back up maybe 2 weeks later into a Doom 10,000. You know what I mean?
mate, I don't know. Put your prize money up to $1 million, then put another $500,000 bonus for if you win like the Sydney, the Australian Oaks and the Australasian Oaks in the same prep, you get a $500,000 bonus or something. Like, something like that. Like,
or you finish top 3 in the Australian Oaks, and yeah.
Yeah.
No, you're even like, if you need someone, Adelaide, like, just let us know.
Yeah. Like, we'll contract you. You'll have to pay through the nose for it.
Yeah, we're not cheap.
But we have ideas.
Yeah, we're not cheap.
All right. Recovery starts in 2 hours to be. Have you eaten yet today?
No.
I had one of the biggest burgers of all time.
This morning?
Yeah.
Already?
Yeah.
Look, I've said it before, I'll say it again. It's a Sunday, and I've just barely gotten up and getting started, and you're out here already doing the Lord's work. What was on the burger? Talk me through it.
All right. It was like the biggest breakfast burger that you can order from Macca's. So it had egg, it had bacon, it had cheese on it. It had 2 beef patties.
Whoa.
Yeah, it was a bit much, to be honest. Had a hash brown. And I ordered through the Macca's app, right? And then I saw in the specials, this isn't an ad, but they had 2 hash browns for $2 as well.
Oh.
I was like, but I'd already ordered a meal.
So you had 3 hash browns?
Yeah, plus the hash brown on the burger. There was 4 hashies thrown around this morning.
That's so starchy. It's a lot of potato.
So
OJ, or did you go for
OJ?
Long OJ, yeah. Good stuff. Well, I've got to make a decision as to what I want to have. Yeah. I think it's probably going to start with Z and end with Ingerbox. That's what I reckon.
Yeah. Gee, baby. Recovery starts for us in a couple of hours, so we need to make some decisions on the type of men that we're going to be today.
Yeah, well, one thing's for sure. I know what side I'm picking, and it's the winning side, because I refuse to be on the victim losing side.
100%.
So I'm gonna be a winner today.
Mate, I was a hero yesterday, and I'm going to be a hero today.
Mate, we're advocates for heroes.
Yeah.
I'm a big hero advocate because I'm sick of the victimhood. It's creeping into the world.
Mate, I was getting flavour fatigue, and then I was the hero that found the ginger beer at the bar. I did that.
That's what I mean. Like, you could have complained the entire night about how good it would have been to have had a ginger beer and not actually be proactive.
Yes.
And show some initiative and ask the good people at the venue we were at for a ginger beer.
Yes.
Like, you could have just complained about it, but you didn't.
No. Be curious, drifters.
Be curious. Be curious. Be proactive. Just like live a life that's fulfilling. Are we still drunk?
I 100% am. And, kudos to you for not driving here, for getting Uber. So that is one of the great decisions that you've made. Are we rambling at this point? Yes.
Yeah.
So we're going to let you go, drifters. I've dog training at 4 p.m. today.
Fuck.
Oh, I honestly cannot think of anything worse.
I could.
That's true. Oh, shut up, mate.
Speaking of. Righto, drifters.
Goodbye. See you Wednesday.